Yo, I got mad respect for Soul for doing this cover because I know that this nigga's eyes are on fire. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Hip Hop Data. We got an album review today. We're gonna be talking about the brand new album that just fucking dropped from a nigga from TDE that's been on the low for a hot minute. I don't know where this nigga been, but this nigga's finally here with some new shit. This nigga's back. He dropped his new shit. We gonna hear some crazy lyrical metaphors and similes and entendres and all kinds of shit that's gonna be all complex, and we gonna love it though. We gonna love every fucking moment of this shit. Talking about the new album from Ab-Soul entitled Do What Thou Wilt. Now, for those who don't know, Ab-Soul, like I said, is a member of Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, and I have to say he's probably the most lyrically dense member of TDE out of everybody. He's always spinning some deep, introspective shit that you just gotta break down to really get, because he'll say one thing, but it could mean another, or it could mean three things. You never know with this nigga Soul. Now he's back with his official follow-up to his 2014 album, These Days, which was cool. I mean, I really didn't like it 100% that much. It was some dope tracks on there, but it was still, But I have to say, so far, my favorite Soul album to this day is Control System. He's got 4. Long-Term Mentality. He's got Control System. These Days. Now, this is number 4, Do What Thou Wilt. Now, let's see if Soul came through after all this time with a crazy album that's just gonna make us be like, yo, this nigga Soul is back and he is on fire, or if he should have just stayed on the low because this nigga's apparently all that time off, he wasn't doing shit but smoking and thinking about shit to say that we really don't need to hear, because this nigga just sometimes, Soul, you be reaching more than goddamn Mr. Fantastic. I'm gonna just let that out right now, but you still dope. Let's talk about the shit. So when I first popped in this album and tuned into the production, I quickly realized that the tone and the theme of this album is very grim and dark and sort of sinister in a way. All the production on here is sort of hard-hitting, banger-type production, but it also has this sort of just eerie, moody, chilling just tone to it that really makes the whole album just sound like this really just dark fucking album. But at the same time, the album is not really dark. It's sort of like if you're like in like it's like sort of like if it was like a black and white album or a gray area album, where it's sort of like, it's not like happy, but it's not like sad. It's more like real. It's just like putting like the realness up to your fucking face of what the situations and the certain things he's talking about is, and he's just doing it in a very real way. And the tone of these beats really just accentuate the things that Soul is doing and trying to come across. But at the same time, even though the skeleton of these beats really do have that banger mentality, there are some just little small things in here that kind of just round out the beat, just give it little bits of things that makes it sound like different in a really cool way. Like, you got crazy synths and types of sample sound effects on here, but you got some bells and you got guitar and like sort of rock influences at times. And for the most part, I really had no problem with any of the beats on here. Some beats on here I didn't care too much for, or I just wasn't wowed by. But then there were some beats on here that were just fucking crazy and I just instantly loved. I love like the vibe and the tone and the mood of it. It really just sounded good with Soul's rapping, and it just really just worked very well. So some of the beats here are a hit, some are a miss. More hits than misses, I will say. But overall, I'm not mad at the production. And let me show you who we got on here, because he got some motherfuckers on here. Hold on, I got it. Shut the fuck up. Here we go. So he got juice of all trades. Okay, like what, orange juice, apple juice. You got all the juice, nigga? Like, holla at me. I love juice. Okay. And Wonder Girl, she fucking dope. Willie B, all right. Pack Music Group. Mike Will made it, always. DJ FU, okay, nigga, FU too, shit. Rocky, all right. Sky Hutch, Tay Beast, ASAP P on the boards, Antidote, Tommy Black, Francis got heat, that nigga still got heat, nigga, you better pay the bill, nigga, it's gonna get cut off. Soundwave, and then Bentley Hayes. So that's all the producers on here, and like I said, for the most part, they all give Soul this really dark, undertone type of production, but it has this banger mentality. And for the most part, I like the majority of the production on here. I think it fits so well. It carries around the theme that he's going with on here. And overall, I gotta say that they did a really good job on these beats. So now let's see what this nigga Ab-Soul did on said beats, and see what kind of crazy fucking wordplay this nigga done came up with this time, because you know he got it. You know this nigga got it. He gonna bring it all day, every goddamn day. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes to Ab-Soul, y'all, like I said, he is the most lyrically dense member of TDE. This nigga always comes through with some crazy wordplay and metaphors and similes and double entendres and meanings and anything you can do to twist words and meanings around, this nigga does it, and he does it well for the most part. And on Do What Thou Wilt, he brings that here straight up out the gate and keeps it going through the entire album. And another interesting thing about this album is that the theme of it is centered around the Law of Dilemma, which actually uses the title but it's got it right here. It's "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole law. Love is the law, love under will." So what Soul did is sort of like made this album sort of a love album, but not really like a direct like ballad, sing-songy type profession of love type thing, but he's sort of just talking about love in a different form. He's giving his own personal perspective of love, especially when it comes to women and women's issues. He sort of gives his own take of himself as well as globally how those things are seen, and the acts of sexism and other things like that, as well as just how he personally thinks and feels and expresses his profession of love towards women. On top of that, he also goes into the actual teachings of the book of law, and he sort of uses and pulls stories from that and sort of incorporates them into his actual songs and albums. And sometimes he's got direct songs by that, like the law, for example. But on top of that, so also his topics such as war and religion and drugs and everything like that from his personal and also just a general global perspective as well. So he kind of just centers around all these other things, but he kind of keeps it contained in this one general and central theme of "Do what thou wilt" and the whole love thing in general. So I appreciate what Soul is doing from a conceptual standpoint, but on top of that, he is still giving us the crazy wordplay and similes and metaphors and all that crazy shit that we know and love Soul for. But sometimes, y'all, I think Soul be reaching sometimes. I mean, he got some lines on here that's fucking crazy, but then he got some lines on here that I'm like, yo, Soul, for real though, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a line on, I forget what song it is off the top of my head, but it's like, yo, I'm not Jewish, but I'll be whatever Jew wish. Like, Soul, come on, you reaching, Soul. You reaching with that one. You reaching more than a fat kid for a cookie. I'm just saying, like, you need to chill on that one. But, I mean, most of the time, he be on point with the shit. And when it comes to features on this album, Soul got quite a few motherfuckers on here. Some motherfuckers I've heard of and some I've not, but it's quite a few on here. So let me let you know who he got. He got Zakari, Boss, all right, from Dreamville, Dash up on here, Cocaine, hell of a drug, BR3, I'm gonna guess that's how it is. Schoolboy Q, that nigga Schoolboy. Tidra Moses, Javante, SZA, Punch, Mac Miller, and Rhapsody. So we got quite a lot of names up on here, and they all come through. And for the most part, I enjoyed all the features on here. Some of them are very noticeable. Some of them are not really that noticeable, but they all come in and they do their damn thing. A couple didn't do too much for me, and that's because most of the time it's because the song itself I just really didn't vibe with. But their performance on here really wasn't that bad. It's just overall, I just didn't really care for the song. But for the most part, I really didn't have any problem with any of their features on here. They all come through. They do what they do, either a dope verse, dope hook, or background vocals. Doesn't matter what the fuck they're doing. They in there, they doing some shit, and they doing their damn thing. But for the most part, Soul still is at the forefront, and he really is the shining light out of everything on here. But the thing about this album that I have to say when it comes to Soul is that with Soul being so heavily lyrical and just so dense with his lyrics, this album is fucking long and shit. It's over an hour long, 16 tracks, but like a good half of these tracks are over 5 minutes long, and you just get like bogged down with just as all this lyricism, and you gotta focus and shit, so sometimes you kind of tune out. So as the album plays along, it sort of starts to wind down on you around the end. So the last few tracks for me personally, not only did I not care for it, but it just feels like the album's overstayed its welcome. Now, with that being said, I think coming out the gate, Soul was on fire. The first fucking like 6 songs, this nigga was like dipped in gasoline, the nigga lit a blunt, and he was just run out the gate on fire. And then when we get to like the song Wifey versus Wi-Fi, which was sort of like a stun with it. Nigga didn't fall, he kind of like tripped, like, ah shit, I almost fell, but he didn't fall. But you know, I mean, there was some lines up in there too. Some are like cool, and some are like, I don't know about that. Like the line that he said was like, yo, I'm beginning to CNN, don't bring Larry King into this. I'm like, first of all, so Larry King don't work at CNN no more. It's been a few years, I don't know if you knew that, but unless you mean like he had the CNN at his time at CNN, if that's what you mean. But nigga, you reaching too much. You reach more than the toothbrush brand with that shit, nigga. Chill the fuck out. But in the same song, he had this really cool last verse where he opened it up saying like, he was talking to his homeboy, and like, he hates his mom, she thinks she the devil. And then Soul's like, what you talking about, man? He said, pull out your fucking phone, nigga. Look at the fucking dial pad. Look at the number, MOM, what's 666? My mama the devil, nigga. Fuck her. Like, I mean, nigga, is everybody's mama the devil? My mom's not the, is she? I gotta ask now. I don't know. But for the most part, the remainder of the album until it gets around the end is very solid and well put together. There's a lot of shining moments on here, but like I said, I think the album is just too damn long, and the songs in itself are too goddamn long. Like when you got 5-minute songs back to back, or like near 5-minute songs back to back, and it's just like, it's so much lyricalness and so much stuff you got to pay attention to, you really do start to get worn out by this album. But other than that, I think Soul put together a really good set of songs, and for the the most part, he did a good goddamn job and gave us probably some of his best work yet. Now, you know I gotta give him a top 5 tracks, and this was kind of difficult because there were so many songs on here that I actually really fucking liked, but I gotta say that the first half of this album is my favorite part, so most of them are in that shit. I think all of them, I don't know, but I've got them right here, y'all, so hold the fuck up. I thought I had them, shut the fuck up. So it's Raw, Braille, Huey Knew Then, Threatening Nature, and Invocation. So those are the top 5, so let's go back up to the top. So Raw is the opening track of the entire album. It's actually Raw backwards for all you rappers, which is war to all you rappers. This is pretty much him proclaiming like, yo, it's war on all other rappers. Me too, so I ain't do shit to you. I mean, we can go if you want. I ain't scared, I'm a little worried because you got a team. I don't, but never mind, nigga, we gonna get back into the top 5. But it's a very dope way to open up the album. Beat is hard hitting, got some nice rock influence on there. Zakari comes through with a dope hook, and so is pretty much just going in lyrically, just killing it. He's even name dropping a few rappers to let them know. He had Jay Electronica and Troy Ave name dropped on there. I think they squashed whatever situation they was in, but he was just like pretty much chiming up on that. But for the most part, it's so just like saying, yo, I'm back, motherfuckers. Y'all better get ready because I'm about to come in with the crazy lyrics and y'all ain't ready for this shit. But we ready, but you don't. He's saying we ain't ready, but we got to prove that we are ready. Because we really, are we ready? I don't fucking know, but the song is fucking dope. Check it out. You guys do because it's the first one. The next song is Braille, and this features Boss, and this is another dope song. It was actually another one of the singles off the album. And I like the beat on here. It's got some like trap influence on here, but it's also got this really eerie, just like vibe to it. It's really dope. And pretty much it's so saying like, yo, it's been done every way, and each and every way it could be done, except for this way. So listen to this way. But I'm like, if you said it's been done every way, so how is that different? But maybe it's not. I don't know. But it's dope. He's going in crazy verses from both him and Boss. I like Boss's verse on here. He really came through with some dope shit. I mean, I'm not too much of a Boss fan, but I did respect his verse on here. And so, of course, came through with crazy lines himself. So it's a dope track. Like the vibe, like the beat. Definitely check it out. I'm pretty sure you've already heard it, but if you haven't heard it, hear the shit right now. And if you haven't heard it, hear the shit again, because it's fucking dope. The next song is Huey Knew Then. When it dropped, it was called Huey Knew, but now it's Huey Knew Then to kind of sound like Huey Newton. But I heard that the song is actually a play off the Boondocks character, Huey Freeman, and he's sort of like giving this whole woke perspective of a lot of things, which is really dope. But I like the beat on here. It's very hard hitting, but very dark and sinister at the same time. And Dash is featured on here. He does the damn thing on here, but I really like fucking Soul's lines on here, especially out the gate. I got them right here so I don't fuck them up, but it says, they speak highly of me when I raise my voice. I gotta shoot a fucking free throw to make my point. My wittiness, leave them stuck in the wilderness. You need a backwood to roll to this joint. Like, come on, that's like just that crazy wordplay that I love from Soul. Like, I mean, it's like face value, but it's still so fucking dope with just the way that he just does it, and it's really fucking dope. And this whole fucking track is fucking crazy. I love the vibe of it. If everybody's pretty much heard this shit, I mean, like, if you haven't heard it, like I said, with Braille, listen to this shit too. But this is like the first song that he put out to announce his album, so pretty much everybody's heard it. And even in the context of the album, it's still one of the strongest songs on the project. So definitely check it out. It's fucking dope. The next song is Threatening Nature, and it's just another dark, grim, sinister, hard-hitting beat that comes right after Huey Knew. And in this song, he really touches on things like religion, where he says the line where he's like, yo, if Adam would never ate the apple, he'd be mad, sad, because like he wouldn't have got to say the cake that was on Eve. And he's talking about Adam and Eve smashing. I don't know if that's blasphemous, me saying that. I don't know, but I mean, that's what he said. And then on the top of that, he also talks about women's issues, things like that. He's like, we hear about his story, but we never about her story. Did anybody bother to ask? So he just hits all these things that make you just really just see things from his perspective, how he just visualizes and how he just, like, you know, sees things in the world globally and personally and gives his perspective on it. So it's a dope fucking track. I really like it. It was probably the last track that they had actually dropped before the album actually came out. But it's really fucking dope. Another strong song right out the gate of the album. And I mean, shit, Threatening Nature is fucking dope. And the last song is Invocation. And I really like this track. I like the beat on here. Very hard hitting. It's got some nice jazzy horns on there. Some really hard hitting like percussion and cymbals on there. But it's still got this really just dark tone to it. And it's pretty much so not only just showing off his lyrical wordplay on here, but he's sort of likening himself to Allah or God in a way. And he's saying that, yo, I can't go on vacation until I finish my vocation or what my job is or what my role is on this planet to do. Which makes sense because this nigga's been on vacation for like 2 fucking years anyway, so he need to get back to work because this nigga's gotta eat. But he's got some dope fucking lines on here. One of my favorite ones on here, he says, I'm in between a rock and a hard place, sort of like the guitar at the Hard Rock Cafe, because if you look at the fucking logo, it's a guitar in the middle and it's hard rock. I get what you're saying. This nigga soul gets it from everywhere, any which way. But at the same time, he's got another line on there where I think he's reaching a little bit, and he's like, you ain't really sick, who you amusing next? Like, who you amusing next, but he's trying to say Mucinex at the same time, nigga. I get it, but that's what But even with that, it's still a very dope song. Cocaine comes through with a really good feature, and overall, I just enjoyed the track in general. I mean, even with that shit, I mean, it's still fucking dope as hell. So definitely check that shit out. It's in the first half or the first chunk of the album that's just on fucking fire. And like, yo, I mean, like, Soul's just like, shit, he's killing it right at this point. He's fucking killing the shit. And that's my top 5, y'all. But like I gotta say, for the majority of this album, I really enjoyed what Soul did on here. The production on here is really good. Soul's lyrics and wordplay are really good. Even though he reached in a little bit sometimes, he's still pretty goddamn good. And I also think he came through with a very unique and interesting theme that he kind of sort of just pretty much played off very well, even though some songs kind of fell flat for me, especially around the end. Like the last 4 songs, I really just didn't care too much for. That's pretty much because at that point, I think, like I said, the album just outstayed its welcome. I think if it was shaved down a little bit, the songs weren't so long, it would have been a better album for me. But like I said, this album isn't terrible at all. I just think it's just a few tracks here that could have been left off, and that's some songs that could have been shaved down in general. But for the most part, Soul did his damn thing, and I enjoyed this album quite a bit. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that Ab-Soul Do What Thou Wilt is a very dope, very well put together album with a unique theme that unfortunately kind of just overstays its welcome with too many songs, too long of too many songs on top of that, and just some questionable lines and moments here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty dope. All I'm saying is that beats on here are crazy except for a couple, rhymes on here are crazy except for a couple, and some songs on here are crazy except for a fucking couple. And overall, other than that, Soul probably came through one of his best albums. I have to say this is his best album since Control System to me personally. Is it better than Control System? I don't think so, but I think it's a way better version of These Days, if anything. But like I said, if Soul would have just shaved off some songs, kind of kept it a little bit more compact and concise, it would have came off a lot better than what it is. It's just a little bit too long for me, especially with all the fucking lyrics and shit you throwing at me, so you need to chill out with that shit. But for the most part, Soul came through with probably one of the best TDE releases this year. So all I gotta say is that for me, Ab-Soul Do What Thou Wilt isn't Granddad approved, but I will give it a very highly Granddad recommended. So go check it out. It's out right now. It's a dope album. A lot of dope tracks up on here. And get you some Ab-Soul, because nigga, it might be another 2-3 years before we get some more Soul. So enjoy this shit. But I got nothing more to say. Ab-Soul, Do What Thou Wilt. It's very highly Granddad recommended. So go check out the shit right now. Flip it. Alright y'all, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Ab-Soul, Do What Thou Wilt if you heard it. If you haven't heard it, like I said, it's out right now. Very dope album for the most part. Few things here and there, but nothing that will make it a whack album at all. It's probably one of the better releases that TDE's dropped this year. So definitely check it out. And I mean, I got nothing more to say, man. Soul did his damn thing. He back. Now we gonna have to wait another 2-3 years for some new shit, because you know that nigga gonna vanish. He gonna vanish and just not show up for nothing, and then just like show up out of nowhere. That's what he fucking does. Previous videos on the side was my latest single. Check that out. Show us some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram. Links in the description below. And subscribe. Button on the screen. Button below. Woolly Reviews twice a week, as well as the CD case studies and the gaming channel. Check all that shit out. And if you're an indie anything and you want your shit spotlighted, info below. And I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, Granddaughter, Ab-Soul, Do What Thou Wilt. Good fucking album, Soul. Good job. Just trim it down a little bit next time. You don't need all that goddamn time. You could have said all this shit in 45 minutes, nigga. An hour and over, nigga. Shit. I almost fell asleep one time. Not because you bored. I'm gonna stop talking. You did a good job though. I'm out of here.